Am I not nice? Or am I just faking being not nice?
It's hot out there.
RamView.
Well, let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Headline, Los Angeles.
Live from the RamCave, I'm Joe Terosian, and this is RamView, the March 14th, 2025 edition. To you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident, need help, got questions, call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word, KistlerLawFirm.com. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair, having some auto issues, get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. And of course, always by Outsiders Camps. Check us out at outsiderscamps.com. Be part of the team as we run camps for young people. Ask me questions about that. I would love to talk to you. So the question came up because I have not been doing the whole I don't know. What do I want to say? I feel like it's gone overboard, folks. I think in 2025, if we haven't learned that our stars can leave, that they can be traded, they can be cut. And so I was kind of accused of faking being mean. And I don't think I've really been mean. It's just I'm not going to be moved to tears and weeping because Cooper Kupp is going and apparently he's going to land in Seattle. No, this is just what it is, guys. I'm not faking it. Maybe I'm a little jaded. Maybe I'm a little cynical. Maybe a little hardened. Maybe we all got some scar tissue. Hey, but everyone walks the green mile, right? Everybody walks the green mile in sports, right? What's that great line from Moneyball? That great line is what does he say? Billy, son, everyone's told someday they can't play. We don't know when we're going to be told, but we're all going to be told that we can't play. Except the Seattle Seahawks don't seem to be getting that message when it comes to Cooper Kupp. They're giving him 3 years, 45, 15 rocks. I don't know how much is guaranteed, but I just marvel that this is their big move. That this is the move they make, right? They've got Jackson Smith and Jigba, okay, right? They've signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling, okay, all right. They're talking about bringing back Tyler Lockett, who's been in the league longer than Cooper Kupp, okay. And now they've signed Cooper Kupp to 3 for 45, 15 roughly a year. And it's like, whoa, MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling's a guy. Kupp and Lockett are old. Are they going to do Sam Darnold any favors? Now, I know I'm talking about this usually in my Rams stretch where I'm talking about what's going on with the Rams and I go to around the NFL and other places, but I kind of find it encouraging that that's the move the Seahawks are going to make, right? And really, are you going to let it get under your skin? Are you going to let it get into your pelt? Are you going to let it get under your skull here that, oh my God, we got to play Cooper Kupp twice a year? I hope the Rams play them twice a year. I hope Kupp is healthy for those games. I hope the Rams win, and I hope Cooper Kupp catches 10 passes in each one of those games. Do not dislike Cooper Kupp, but please, we saw him at the end of last year. It was painful to watch him at the end of last year, knowing what he was and then what we saw him to be. And if the Seahawks want to invest, let it rip, baby. Let it rip. I'm feeling really good about that right now. Speaking of Ram notes, Neville Gallimore, who gave the Rams a good season and a half, was pretty good in the postseason. Sorry to say, Neville Gallimore has signed with the Colts, so we wish him well. Positive experience, him playing for the Rams. I thought that was, he came in with no luster, did a couple of really nice things. Sorry to see him go, but that's just the way it is, right? Okay, real quick, and I look for something today. All this buzz, right? Stafford and Alaric Jackson back in the fold. Devontae Adams brought in. Poona Ford, all right. Tutu Atwell, okay, we'll dance. You know the name I'm looking for that I have not heard? Have you guys heard? Because again, let me know. The name I have not heard that I want to know, is this going to be a replay of last offseason? I haven't heard of Killa Witherspoon's name. I haven't heard him on anybody else's radar. I mean, Trey Tomlinson wasn't in the street for 5 minutes before the 49ers signed him. What is going on with Killa Witherspoon? Steelers signed Darius Slay, who's 34. Was a much better player than Killa Witherspoon for his career. But at this point, I would lean Witherspoon. Slay was in the street for 48 hours or whatever it was, and he's in Pittsburgh. And I just haven't heard anything about Killa Witherspoon. And in 2023, he played well for the Rams. He waned a little bit in the back half of the season, but you would have thought that would have merited another contract. But no, the Rams went out and brought back Darius Williams, and then they waited until there was injuries and disarray until bringing back Witherspoon at the start, first, second week, third week, and he really didn't get on the field till week, 8, 9, 10? And he played really well. Now, he's a half-season guy, but I would have thought you'd heard something about Killa Witherspoon, or especially down the stretch that somebody would say, hey, you know what? We should grab this guy as a third corner, as a depth piece. I'm just curious how that's playing out. As of right now, Witherspoon, Joe Noteboom, John Johnson III, Connor McDermott, Laurel Murchison, Tyler Johnson, Troy Reader, Ronnie Rivers. These are the Rams' remaining free agents, as Christian Roseboom has gone on to Carolina, and Jake Hummel has gone on to Baltimore. I think Troy Reader's time is done. I think John Johnson is going to be a wait and see. I think Joe Noteboom, whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if Laurel Murchison comes to camp because he's got no market after missing all of last year. And Tyler Johnson, I got to believe there's something out there for him. Right now, you got to figure Rams are 4 deep at wide receiver and figure to get 5 deep if you count Xavier Smith, 6 deep if they draft a receiver somewhere in that top 100 or in the first 4 rounds. So Tyler Johnson, it just doesn't look like there's room here. Got into a little, I'm not going to say it was a debate or anything, just a little back and forth when we shared that it didn't look like Demarcus Robinson was coming back, and there were a lot of Ram fans that thought Robinson was coming back. Just look at the numbers. All you got to do is look at the room, right? Look at the room. 6 wideouts max, and there's just no room for Robinson or Tyler Johnson. All right, some questions have popped in as I got on late today, guys. Right here. There you go. I still got it. I've been making hospital visits, so I apologize. My day was a little out of the ordinary. So here we go. Tim Burns, Steeler fan Rob, is in Missouri, is in a tornado warning area. Big old hail. I had small hail yesterday outside my office. But pray for Steeler fan Rob. Steeler fan Rob, as I was there last summer, does not have a basement. I asked him what he does. He gets religious, I think, when there's this kind of weather. Yeah, but I think that's a good idea. Keep Steeler fan Rob in Missouri in your thoughts and prayers. We don't want anything to happen to him. You got to have somebody to pick on. I mean, this is the team that can't even keep Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and is begging Aaron Rodgers to join them. They lose Najee Harris. They lose Larry Ogunjobi. They lose everybody. So Steeler fan Rob could use a break, right? Chris Childers, what do you think of Kupp signing with the Seahawks? Oh, I got it in there already. Bill, that's the worst place I wanted to see him play. Darn it. Well, it is going home, but I think I guess I shared my thoughts there. I got ahead of you guys. Tim Burns, have a great RamView, Joe T, Manny, Bill, and tell I am surrounded by machines and have bad Wi-Fi, so be safe in this crazy weather. Okay, Mr. Burns, take care. Thank you for clicking on. Bill, do you see the Maurice Drew? Bill, I was thinking of you because weren't you the one bringing up not Kyle Juszczyk, but bringing up fullback? Were you the one bringing up fullback? I'm trying to remember, but I did think about that. Yeah, I saw the tweet. Maurice Jones-Drew said the Rams should pick up Kyle Juszczyk, who was put in the street. I think he's a good, solid player. I'd be curious to know how the Rams would use him. It's a real interesting proposition. If the Rams made that move, I'd have to say, okay, we're back into place where we trust Mick Snead. We trust them in their decision-making. He is in his 30s. I think he's got 10 years of tread. Excuse me. It is cold here. It's less than 50 here in the home of the Camellias. So anyway, yeah, I think it was you, Bill. Manny, what's up? Tim Burns, still with us. If Tutu was worth 10 rocks, we could have given 15 to Kupp, which I hear he was looking for. Must be more to this between Cooper and McVay. I honestly, I'll share this with you, Tim, and I know this will probably cost me listeners and viewers, and this will perpetuate the myth that I'm mean. I think Atwell's more valuable than Kupp at this point. I don't think Kupp's anywhere near worth $15 million. I just don't. All right. Now, do I think Atwell's worth 10? Probably not, based on previous performance. But it kind of tells you what the Rams were thinking too, what the Rams were seeing down the stretch. And let's just say you brought Kupp back. Let's say Kupp said, "Hey, I'm going to stay a Ram. I'll come in for 10 rocks, 5 rocks, or whatever, or even 15 rocks." Let's just say the money was there. Is he going to play to get ahead of Devontae? Is he going to play ahead of Puka? Do you want him taking snaps away from Jordan Whittington? Right? I don't know. Yeah, I do not know. Let's see. Manny Correa, Kaiser White. Any news on the Kaiser White front? You brought that up on Wednesday. I didn't see anything before I came on the air. Kaiser White, off-ball linebacker, Cardinals for the last couple years, was with Jonathan Gannon in Philly. If something came on that, let me know. Bill, I was reading on Over the Cap as of today, the Rams get a 6th and 7th round picks for next year. In terms of compensatory picks, the Rams should get a compensatory for Roseboom. I think they get a compensatory for Hoyt. You can't get more than 3 or more than 4. I'm not sure. So the Rams will get a full load of compensatory picks. You won't get one for Cooper Kupp because you cut him, so you don't get that comp pick and such. But yeah, I think the Rams will get a full complement of comp picks next year for the guys they've lost this year. Let's see. Manny Correa, Isaiah Simmons would be nice. Okay, you're throwing all the thoughts out there. Neil Gonzalez, they can use Kyle in a 2 backfield lineup. Was that you? One of you guys was pushing me about fullback. Darius Hines, I'd rather use Whittington as a fullback instead. And bless you, Big Brother Joe. All right, Darius, thank you. Does anyone remember, was it 2023? I think it was 2023. Remember when there were different moments where McVay was using Skoranek at fullback? Remember that? Setting him up, and that was kind of a real wrinkle we had not seen. I don't know if Whittington has the meat on his bones to do what Skoranek was doing, but I love those creative looks. I really do, and I'm curious to see when he says make the thing more dynamic, what would they do? Bill, did you hear Michael Hoyt got 6-game suspension? I think I butchered his last name. Hoyt got a 6-game suspension? What? HGH? Really? Wow. Did not know that. Interesting. Darius Hines, watching Tutu's highlight video shows his true value. He was wide open on nearly all of his catches. His yards of separation is near the top of the league. He is valuable and worth the money. The Rams think so. I think I just didn't expect Atwell to come back. I'm glad he's back. I didn't think the Rams would give him 10 rocks, but they gave him 10 rocks. You're right. And in fact, you'll even hear the color guys talking about the color commentators. They'll talk about the space that Atwell creates with the speed, because they all live in fear of his speed. It's just a question of McVay using him, right? If he goes off this year, 10 mil will be a bargain. But if they treat him like they've done every year, I grew up here in LA. All right. If you were a Dodger fan in the 80s, Kenny Landreau was basically roaming center field from 1981 to 1987. Kenny Landreau's beautiful left-handed swing. Beautiful. KT, right? Love Kenny Landreau. I would like to all think he wasn't a center fielder, but the Dodgers played him there. And every spring training, Lasorda would come out and say, hey, Kenny Landreau's my everyday center fielder. Kenny Landreau's my everyday center fielder. And oh, by the way, Kenny Landreau's my everyday center fielder. That's what Lasorda would say. And then the first left-hander the Dodgers faced, Landreau was on the bench. And we've heard McVay talk about how much they really like Tutu Atwell. Well, you got to play him, man. You got to work him into the offense. And I push back on those who keep whining about Creed Humphrey. Also, Nick Bolton, who the Chiefs took after the Rams took Atwell. Rams could have had either Bolton or Creed. Maybe he was taken a little high, but I think it's not a question of his route running. It's not a question of his hands, not a question of his speed. Could there be a little question there's not enough of him, as my friend Rich Whittington would say? But it's on McVay. McVay's got to figure out a way to make this work, right? That's what I think. Manuel Correa, Hummel is a Raven. Yeah, that was interesting. Tim Burns, good point. Darius, Tim, you're still with us. All right, I'm glad you're here, Tim. Darius, with the amount of money and Cup being gone, I expect Tutu to get a fair share of targets. My big concern isn't production, but his durability with his small frame. I think we've all had that concern, and it's like, well, let's find out. We just never found out, right? We just never found out. It's interesting. He's got the small frame. Puka Nakua's college career was highlighted by injuries. Jordan Whittington's college career was highlighted by injuries. And Devontae Adams has been pretty rock solid. I think I broke it down 10 years or 11 seasons. He's only missed 15 games. Yeah, so let it rip with Tutu. I'm all there. Oh, speaking of separation, saw it on one of the Rams group pages on FB. They broke down, someone was posting an analytics thing on Cooper Kupp and his separation stuff. And you correct me if I'm wrong. In 2021, they ranked, and I'm assuming this was PFF. I'm not sure who was being quoted here. I saw the list, and I just didn't comment on it. I didn't want to troll. But they said Cooper Kupp was 15th out of 150 receivers in separation in the year 2021. You name 14 receivers in the NFL that were more wide open than Cooper Kupp in 2021, and I won't believe you, right? I just won't. That's the stupidest take, and it's the most ridiculous thing analytics has ever come up with. Someone's not measuring right. Cooper Kupp was always open in 2021. He just always was. To say he was 15th best, you got to look at some of these sites and say, man, what are you swilling, man? What are you shoveling our way? Because that really a dumb take, a dumb analytic there. Cooper Kupp in the Super Bowl, he was the only receiver the Rams had left. On every play, Stafford is going to him. On every play, he was getting open. And that's what makes it hurt a little bit more, in the sense that watching him play down the stretch last year, we know if Kupp is open, Stafford's going to get him the ball. Kupp just wasn't open. He just couldn't get open. So there we go. Let's see. Neil Gonzalez. If the Rams pick up a veteran middle linebacker free agent, do you think they'll still use a high draft pick for a linebacker? I would be stunned. And again, I could be wrong. I think the highest the Rams have drafted a linebacker was Ernest Jones. What was that? 104th? I got that right here. Let me click on it. Let's see where the Rams drafted Ernest Jones. Rams drafted Ernest Jones at 103, third round. That's the highest linebacker the Rams have drafted, 103 overall. They've got pick at 101, pick at 90, and a pick at 26 of right now, and they have pick number 127. I can see them using a pick at 127, right? I can. Although their undrafted free agent evaluations of off-ball linebackers have been pretty good. Isn't it amazing that guys like Christian Roseboom and Jake Hummel are still, well, Roseboom is still in the league, but Hummel got a second contract. I mean, they got pretty good talent evaluation there. Michael Hoyt was another linebacker. He's not exactly off-ball linebacker, but yeah, I think at 127, I really do. I think that's a possibility at 127 that the Rams could spend a pick there. Darius Hines and Tim agree. All right, Bill. In fact, Buffalo has lost 2 free agents to 6-game suspensions. Hoyt and Michael Ogunjobi. Oh, wow. Or Larry Ogunjobi. Wow. Thanks for the breaking. You know what, man? I was just on, and I didn't see anything about that. That's good work, man. Thank you, Bill. Micah Gutierrez. If Kupp didn't like playing on SoFi's turf, I wonder how he'll look on Lumen's turf in the rain. There's a good point. And there's my point. I think I went on a rant last year with on my good friend Stan Kroenke in terms of, you're the richest owner in the league. Freaking put grass down, dude. The technology's there. You figure out a way to get grass there. You know, your number one receiver doesn't like playing back-to-backs. You know, figure it out, man. You got a lot of dead money going out, put some dead money into that field and get rid of that stupid carpet, right? Okay, there's my rant. But you got a point there, Micah. Chris Childers, you think the Rams will sign someone before the draft or after? What position? What position are you thinking about, Chris? I think they're waiting for the draft right now. I want to see them re-sign Ahkello Witherspoon. I want to see that one go. Interesting. I've been honking for Dalvin Tomlinson. Dalvin Tomlinson today agreed to terms with Arizona Cardinals. And we'll look at the Arizona Cardinals signings right now in a minute here. Let's see. Samuel Ansley, howdy, Joe. What free agent linebacker do you like? I like the Rams to get White. You know, White is the one I'm most familiar with because we see him I've seen him 4 times in the last 2 years. I know, who was it? One of you guys. I think it was Steve Ramirez was pushing Eric Kendricks. And then some of the other guys are pushing CJ Mosley. I do got kind of a soft spot for CJ Mosley. That one is kind of cool to me. If not, draft that linebacker. Let's see. Tim Burns, let's see. Cornerback drop-off in the draft makes it unlikely to get one at 26. So if we keep the pick, what position do we use at 26? O-line, wide receiver, quarterback, and dart? Yeah, that one's interesting. If the Rams drafted a tackle at 26, if they stay at 26, if they draft a tackle there, that would be telling us that, okay, this is the last roundup for Rob Havenstein, right? Do you really want a number 1 draft pick on the offensive line to sit for 2 years? I don't know if I want that because you're going to be paying them some dough, first round money. The other one is, again, I'd rather see the Rams trade back. I don't think at 26 first round corners are there, but you get into the 30 to 40 range. Then you're talking Maxwell Harrison at Kentucky. You're talking the kid from Florida State who has the tough name to pronounce that I can't pronounce right now, Izera from Florida State. So those are guys to look at, but those aren't 26. If you got to 26 and Jackson Dart was there, how I feel about Jackson Dart, I would be really tempted to pull the trigger. And I'm not going to be upset if they draft a receiver. Right. I don't think Colston Loveland or Tyler Warren are going to be there. And I think the other tight ends you can get later. Gunnar Helm keeps going in the mock drafts I see somewhere between 90 and 100. And so that might be a place. USA Expat still think Shula may prefer a fast, big safety over an above average inside linebacker. I don't know. I have to say, I do not know. I can't even give you a fake answer on that. I've been conditioned to like the heavy safeties, the Jalen McCullough types. Traven Howard, who played linebacker for the Rams, he played safety in college. I do not know, right? I do not know. It'd be nice to spot another Ernest Jones in the draft. Someone like him, give us 3 years, 4 years, and then let him move on. Let's see. Darius Hines. Last year, Omar Spates was the best rated linebacker against the run, and Elias Neal was the best rated against the pass. With all the departures, do you think Elias gets a shot to start? I don't know. I think he'll always have a shot. The Rams kept him for a reason, right? You watch during the preseason, and you're wondering, is this guy going to stick around? And he was on the active roster when I think my friend Stan Kroenke is calling me. He's probably upset about my talk about the turf. Elias Neal, the Rams like Elias Neal. I think they liked Omar Spates better. I think Spates is going to be better this year. Another year of experience, under his belt. I think he's going to be better. But yeah, I think Elias Neal, and I do think they're going to bring somebody in. The longer it goes on, though, there's no rush right now. Those linebackers we've talked about, Kaiser White, CJ Mobley, Kendricks, some of these other guys, they're still out there. So what's the rush to sign them now, right? See what happens in the draft. We talked about Jack Kaiser. We've talked about some other linebackers. Kaiser's the one from Notre Dame and such. So I don't think there's a rush. And stick with what you got. Chris Childers, cornerback. Okay, Chris. Yeah, I think that's where Mr. Burns was commenting a little bit. I wouldn't take a corner at 26. If I could trade back, between 30 and 50, 35 and 50, and pick up another pick, I think you get the cornerback you want. Bill, Jaguars hired Rams analytic guy Jake Temmey. I did see that. Why are the Jags purging us? But this is what they did. Raheem Morris went to Atlanta, took Jimmy Lake. Now Jimmy Lake's back. Kevin O'Connell went to Minnesota. He took guys with him. This is what happens. And it's a compliment. It's a compliment to the organization. And then on the flip side, though, this means McVay. He probably gets a stack of resumes every year, and he gets to pick the best of the best because he knows, right? Look at his tree. His tree is amazing. USA expect tight end could be the number 26 pick. Outside of Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren, is there another first round worthy tight end? Mason Taylor, I don't know if he's first round material. You can get them later. And I think all the chatter just keeps driving Colston Loveland further up the draft board. Manny Correa, Nick Emanawari, he's the heavy safety, I think, from is it Boston College? Yeah, I think that's where he's from. USA expect Kleroke C. Minuk. Okay, did I pronounce that right? Manuel Correa, Teddy Buchanan, Cal reminds me of Kendrick. Okay. Ozzie Trapillo, this is Manny Correa at 90. Micah Gutierrez, Kaiser would be a really good pickup. I could foresee him becoming a captain for this defense in a few years. I could see him playing for the Rams for 4 years, and then when his contract is up, he leaves as a free agent. Rams get a compensatory pick, and then the Rams move on from there. Just what the Rams do, right? They're not going to spend money on linebackers. They haven't. We've seen them come and go, right? We've seen them come and go, and this even predates McVay. Snead was like that, not bringing you back, right? Not bringing you back. We're moving on. All right. Excuse me. In the fold right now on the offensive line, it's something I just always want to go over. Larrick Jackson, Steve Avila, Bo Limmer, Kevin Dodson, and Rob Havenstein. Left tackle backup as of now would probably be A.J. Akuri. Left guard backup as of now would be Justin Diedick. Center backups would be Dylan McMahon and Coleman Shelton, who's also got experience at guard. I have to think that the Rams signed him to play both. I know there was talk. Which podcast was I listening to? There was talk about Coleman Shelton competing with Bo Limmer for the starting job, which he very well could. I would be highly disappointed if Coleman Shelton replaced Bo Limmer, right? We've seen Shelton's ceiling. I want to believe that we just think that Bo Limmer has scratched the surface. Backup at guard, KT Leviston, who the Rams kept active last year, even after they brought him back. They just didn't dress him. And then Warren McClendon, who plays better at right tackle than at left tackle, backing up Havenstein. So nothing's out of the question about the Rams drafting an offensive lineman. Do I see them drafting an offensive lineman number 26? No. Could they trade back and get 4 picks in the top 100? And besides maybe looking at a corner, especially we don't know what's up with Ahkello Witherspoon, then could they look at another offensive lineman? Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally see that coming. All right. I'm Joe Terosian, a sports writer for 20 years. Still am kind of. Now I'm contributing to Mid-Valley Sports, and you can check us out there, midvalleysports.com. And Mr. Burns is contributing Oakland A material and some helping out with some Ram material as well. And check us out. We got some football stuff there, mainly a high school football site, but we've got other stuff there. It's where I started with my guys. I'm not really running the show over there. Peterson and Barker are running the show. I'm just contributing. So check them out. Check us out on Spotify at From the RamCave. I'm a day late loading up some stories, just a lot of hospital runs lately. And then also just want to say thank you to our sponsor, Paul Kistler at Kistler Law. Without their support, we wouldn't be here. And Temple City Auto. And for buying my books, guys, thank you so much for buying my books. It keeps me employed in my day job. I pastor a small church in Burbank called Burbank Faith Nazarene. And we're right here on YouTube at Burbank Faith Virtual, burbankfaithvirtual.com, Burbank Faith Virtual all across social media. I'm also one of the directors of Outsiders Camps, and that's why I'm working camps in different places throughout the year. You'll see me in various places. All right, I think a few more questions rolled in, or at least one more. Let's see. Michael Negretti, hola, Pastor Joe. What about Isaiah Simmons at linebacker? I believe he is a free agent. Yeah, I don't think I'd be upset. My thing is that I don't think there's a rush right now. I just don't. I think the longer these guys are out there, and there's several of these guys, and there's a half dozen difference between all of them, right? The longer they're out there, their price goes down. They're going to be looking for a team. They'd obviously, the players with a market likely have signed by now, right? That's why Joe Noteboom's floating out there. Akilla Witherspoon's a mystery to me. But these linebackers, I think you could hold off on them, see how the chips fall in the draft. And then there's that, again, that scramble right after the day 3 when they sign all the UDFAs. Manny Correa, Rivaldo Fairweather, tight end, Auburn. Check him out. Later rounds. Okay. All right. Just a quick rundown of what teams have added to themselves. I'm going to miss a couple things here, I think, but a couple of re-signings and who they brought back. Minnesota brought in Aaron Jones. They retained Aaron Jones, running back. He's got mileage on him, though. Isaiah Rodgers, corner. I think that was a good signing for them. And then they brought in former Taxkin Jonathan Allen and former 49er and Eagle Javon Hargrave, trying to get depth along that front. Packers, I got Aaron Banks, former left guard with the 49ers. Lions, I got DJ Reed. Bears, Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, and Joe Thuney. I just read where the Bears extended Jonah Jackson. Giants got Javon Holland. Of course, they're looking for Aaron Rodgers. The Taxkins, we brought back Marcus Mariota. They brought in Javon Kinlaw. They brought in Laramie Tunsil. They also traded for Deebo Samuel. Only cost them a 5th round. So they're going to be formidable next year, and they're on the Rams schedule. Cowboys, boy, this just looks like a JV squad. Dante Fowler, Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams. Now, Ram fans always give respect to Dante Fowler. He's the guy that got in Drew Brees' face in New Orleans in overtime, got the ball tipped, that JJ intercepted, that sent the Rams to Super Bowl 53. So much respect always to Dante Fowler from Ramland. Eagles signed Adoree Jackson after losing C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He was traded, I think, to the Texans, and also they lost Isaiah Rodgers. And they also brought back A.J. Dillon into the league, the former Packer. Former Ram Jonah Williams is signed with the Saints. Of course, the Buccaneers re-signed Chris Godwin. They also re-signed Greg Gaines, former Ram, who we miss, but God bless him, fare thee well. And Hassan Reddick they brought into the fold. Panthers kept J.C. Horn, and they picked up 2 Rams, Bobby Brown, who the Rams will likely get a compensatory pick for, and Christian Roseboom. Falcons have also picked up a pair of former Rams, Leonard Floyd and Morgan Fox. A lot of ex-Rams floating around out there. Cardinals, we knew, signed Evan Brown, Baron Browning, Jacoby Brissett, Josh Sweat, and Dalvin Tomlinson. They are really trying to beef up that defense with Josh Sweat and Dalvin Tomlinson. They were a sieve there stopping the run. And again, I will say this. That's the Rams' competition next year. That's the team to look out for. That's the team you want to make sure keeps Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray's the ace in the hole, because he's going to short-circuit that team. And the Cardinals are getting better. Cardinals have played 2 solid seasons under Jonathan Gannon. I think they're ready to break out. Seahawks, as we talked about, they brought in Cooper Kupp, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They're also talking about bringing back Tyler Lockett. They did bring in Sam Darnold. They kept Ernest Jones. They gave him his contract, former Ram. Cooper Kupp, former Ram. Jerron Reed along the defensive front. Leonard Williams had taken a pay cut. So that's formidable there. I just don't like what they're doing on offense. They also brought in DeMarcus Lawrence, who had his little dust-up with former teammate Micah Parsons in Dallas. And I thought DeMarcus Lawrence was right. You're not winning a Super Bowl there. And the second Jerry Jones gives Micah Parsons something close to 40 rocks a year, I guarantee you, may not even make the playoffs in that division with that cruddy team they're putting together in the Cowboys. So DeMarcus Lawrence did a good thing. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank, but if he wants to catch a ride, he picked a better team than Dallas. 49ers signed Mac Jones, and of course they had previously signed Trey Tomlinson and Demarcus Robinson, again, another pair of Rams. Josh Allen was re-upped with the Bills to a big fat contract. Greg Russo. Joey Bosa signed with the Bills, and Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt, who Bill just passed on to us, shocked me. It was a real shocker. They're getting 6-week suspensions, and I can only suspect HGH. Dolphins signed Zach Wilson, and right now they're fearful that Terrion Armstead might not be back at left tackle. Justin Fields to the Jets. Yeah. And then the Patriots just went crazy with Harold Landry, Morgan Moses, Carlton Davis, Milton Williams, Robert Spillane. I do like the pairing of Carlton Davis with Christian Gonzalez. Broncos brought in Taliana Hafanga, Dre Law, and they also signed Evan Ingram. Chiefs brought back Hollywood Brown, Nick Bolton. They signed Elijah Mitchell, Jalen Moore, Jerry Tillery, defensive lineman, and re-brought back Kareem Hunt. Still, this team, something doesn't seem right there with the Chiefs going forward. I think they're vulnerable. Chargers, Khalil Mack, Najee Harris, Dante Jackson, Tyler Heineke, good backup, and brought back Mike Williams. So there you go. Colts, Daniel Jones, Javarius Ward, Neville Gallimore. Jaguars, everybody in the Rams front office, and Johnny Munt. Titans, Johnny Hecker, Van Jefferson, and former Steeler left tackle Dan Moore. Texans, we talked about C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Christian Kirk. They are definitely going to draft a tackle in the first round. Can't imagine moving off Laramie Tunsil and not doing that. And so that's where they are at. Steelers, Darius Slay, Mason Rudolph, and Ben Skoranek is back in the fold with Pittsburgh. Browns, I got nothing to say. Bengals got nothing to say. Ronnie Stanley back with the Ravens, and DeAndre Hopkins goes from KC. Really feels like DeAndre Hopkins is, the way he's bouncing around these days. It's a bummer he didn't get that ring. Bummer he didn't get that ring in KC. There we go. All right, keep it on rolling here. We talked about Micah Parsons. League meetings March 30th through April 2nd. Draft April 24th through the 26th. I think we got most of that stuff in there. We've looked at the Rams roster on Wednesday. We'll keep up on that. A couple of guys that have just been with the team forever. Keep an eye on Keir Thomas, Tanner Ingle, and Sean Jolly, right? How long are these guys going to last, right? I'm not saying they're going to be stars, but can one of these guys make the active roster? How long can you be on a practice squad? Really interesting stuff. Adding to the Ram interviews was Washington linebacker Carson Bruner. It said the Rams had an extensive interview with him. I think that was on Walter Camp Football. You can check that one out. And Rams picks. Rams are drafting at 26, 90, 101, 127, 190, 195, 201, and 202. So they're loaded in the back end, and they've scored a lot in that spot. It would be nice to bridge the gap, trading back from 26, picking up a couple of extra picks, or at least one extra pick in the first 100 in that draft. Okay, looking at the mock draft, I went to Fox Sports. Fox Sports was interesting, and I thought it was kind of creative to see, well, what did Fox Sports have the Rams doing at 26? And they were pretty creative. Of course, they went Titans taking Cam Ward, Browns taking Travis Hunter, Giants taking Abdul Carter. And I'm trying to figure out what that means. Do they not assume that they're going to get Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers? Why would you, when you got Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, why would you also take Abdul Carter? I don't get that. Raiders are proposed to move up from 6 to 4 with the Patriots and take Shedeur Sanders. And then everything else kind of falls into line there with most of the things you've seen in terms of mock drafts. Broncos trading up to number 13 for Ashton Genty from number 20 with the Dolphins. Tyler Warren going to the Panthers at number 8. Colston Loveland going to the Colts at 14. And then again, more of the same. Steelers taking a defensive lineman, which I think made Steeler fan Rob happy in Missouri. Kenneth Grant, Michigan. Chargers taking Mike Green, edge, Marshall. I think that's a mistake. Tui Puliopto, the guy from USC, and Khalil Mack. I think Chargers need offense. Packers taking Matthew Golden. I didn't get that one. And then the Browns trading with the Rams trading up with the Rams to take Jalen Milroe at number 26. And I think it said on the thing there, it moves the Rams back to number 33 and then adds another pick. So the Rams didn't make a pick in this mock draft, but it was the first mock draft I'd seen. It's on Fox Sports. First one I've seen that actually had the Rams trading back. So I thought that was kind of insightful. And for the record, 2 tight ends in the first round. Actually, in this draft, at number 31, they show the Chiefs taking Mason Taylor out of LSU at number 31. So my guess is Mason Taylor is climbing up the boards. So keep an eye on that name going forward. Micah Gutierrez, you would think the Chargers, with the Chargers cap space, they would have made some big moves, especially after going 11-6. My thing with the Chargers is the Spanos family. That's just what it is, right? It's just what it is. Believe it or not, I've actually met have anyone ever met a diehard Charger fan? I actually met a diehard Charger fan. He's a lawyer and he lives down in San Diego. And I asked him, because I was at a Dodger game. Dodgers Padres are playing, and he's a huge Padre fan too. So I said, "You're really a Charger fan?" He goes, "Oh yeah, diehard. We're crushed when they moved." And I said, "Oh yeah, well, we don't want him here." And they basically just said Spanos, and they're too cheap. And then I said, "I don't think you guys are ever going to win a title with Spanos owning." He goes, "No, we don't stand a chance. We will have those seasons where we have a blurb, a little bloop where it looks like something good's going to happen, but by and large, no, not as long as the Spanos family is owning the Chargers." Now, Harbaugh gives them a shot, I believe, but this is I think it's a bigger year than some people think for a team that's 11-6. Harbaugh certainly doesn't have to prove anything, but you gotta play a better schedule this year. Your team better be better, right? It better be better. Slater and Alt need to stay healthy. Make sure you secure the middle part of that line. Najee Harris was a great signing, but you need another guy to catch the ball. And I don't think Mike, where are you going to get 9 games out of Mike Williams? You need another guy. That's a team that's in the market for a Matthew Golden. They need a burner, and then they just got to cut ties with Quentin Johnson because he's got the big B bust written all over him. Bigger bust than Jane Mansfield is Quentin Johnson. There we go. Micah Gutierrez, I live in San Diego, so I know quite a few Charger fans. They still think the Chargers will move back if ownership changes. Yeah, you're always just a tenant. And I'll let Ram fans decide. Will the Chargers ever be a team in Los Angeles? They won't be. And I'll say this, maybe in the later years, as you got to the late 80s, but when the Raiders won the Super Bowl in 83, the whole Marcus Allen running with the night, which was a beautiful Super Bowl, just the last game Facenda called, and there was so much good in that NFL Films production of Super Bowl. What was that? Super Bowl 18. I'll say it. No one in Los Angeles was like, we got a champion. No, that was the Oakland Raiders that was playing in Los Angeles, right? I think as time went on with the culture and everything, late 80s, early 90s, there were some Raider fans that really developed and became diehard. But that 83 title didn't mean anything. Even if the Chargers went to the Super Bowl, it's going to be like the Angels, right? Angels had a moment in 2002 where it's like, oh my gosh, the Angels went to the World Series and Artie Moreno lowered the price of beer and, all this good stuff. And look at what it's been the last 20 years, right? Look what it's been. And yeah, they just, I don't know what I think they're making hand over fist, but I wouldn't trust the Spanoses. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but that's just how I feel. That's how I feel. And stuff. So, all right, let's keep moving here real quick. All right, let's do this.
It was a stone group, my man.
It has been a stone group. I was feeling kind of tired before the show. You guys energized me. All right, this day in Ram history, born in 1961, defensive tackle Sean Miller out of Utah State. He turned 64 today. Sean Miller, serviceable guy there for most of the 80s. Fred Stokes turned 61, defensive tackle, defensive end for the Rams. He had some seasons with the Redskins. He never quite got that shot with the Rams. Georgia Southern guy, always waiting for him to develop. And a couple of moments with the Redskins, not with the Rams. Tomorrow, we're not on the air, Saturday, March 15th. Rams signed in 2012 Cortland Finnegan. In 1966, they actually got the rights to David Ray. And then in 2021, when the new year began, These were the Rams free agents in 2021. Austin Blythe, Blake Bortles, Jake McQuaid, Johnny Johnson III, Josh Reynolds, Morgan Fox, Samson Ebukam, Troy Hill, and Malcolm Brown all became unrestricted free agents. Samson Ebukam has carved out a nice career, although he had a bad injury last year with 49ers and Colts. Troy Hill was done. He had a cup of coffee with the Rams. Malcolm Brown, I think we liked him at the time. He came back briefly in 2022, wasn't the same. Jake McQuaid has bounced around the league. He's still bouncing around as a long snapper. Johnny Johnson's been back in the fold. Blake Bortles, he's probably playing cards with Ichabod Crane somewhere. I don't know where that dude's at. And Austin Blythe finished his run there up there in Seattle. I think it was in 2023, but he was at the end of his line. On March 15th, 2022, Andrew Whitworth retired. That was a big one. March 15th, 2023, the Rams released Bobby Wagner. We knew that one was coming. And Ashawn Robinson, Baker Mayfield, Bryce Perkins, Chandler Brewer, David Edwards, David Long Jr., Greg Gaines, Jacob Harris, Jake Gervais, John Wolford, Matt Gay, Matt Orzek, Nick Scott, Riley Dixon, Taylor Rapp, Trayvon Howard, Troy Hill became free agents. All those guys. That was, of course, after the 2022 Chainsaw Massacre the Rams suffered through. And they were cutting all that fungible stuff, right? They were getting rid of all that salary cap stuff. Wasn't much longer. I think they traded they did. I think it was later that day. They actually traded Jalen Ramsey to Miami for a third-round pick and Hunter Long. That third-round pick that the Rams got was 77th overall. The Rams converted that into Byron Young. So every time you see Byron Young, remember he's cause and effect of Jalen Ramsey getting traded to Miami. So, and then same day, March 15th, 2024, a year ago tomorrow, Aaron Donald announced his retirement. Now, I think Aaron Donald has been out of the game long enough to where he could say, my cup's not full anymore. He should come back and give the Rams 25 snaps, right? 25 snaps a game, bring Aaron Donald back. There you go. Would that make everybody happy? Also born on March 15th in Ram history, March 15th, 1926, Norm Van Brocklin, a name that should be better remembered. Also, 1937, March 15th, Dick Bass. There's one. So you have Ben Brocklin and Bass, legendary Rams. And then in 1990, March 15th, you got Tavon Austin. Yeah, okay. 1994, it gets a little bit better. Turning 31 tomorrow is Matt Gay. Matt Gay did a great job for the Rams. All right, and finally, March 16th, 2022, that's this Sunday, is the anniversary of Austin Corbett, Brandon Powell, Ogbo Okoronkos, Joseph Sebastian Joseph Day, Von Miller, all became unrestricted free agents, and the Rams released Johnny Hekker, and life went on. Everyone now Hekker wasn't Cooper Kupp, but everyone loved Johnny Hekker, right? And life goes on. Life goes on. Speaking of Von Miller, he's out there in the street. I wouldn't mind bringing him back for peanuts and let him be the third edge guy that comes in and spots people, spot him, and see if he can chase a ring if that's what he wants. He never really feel like the Rams wanted him back after the Super Bowl season, but the Bills came in with that massive contract. He couldn't turn it down. And that was to the Bills' dismay. And the Rams got off the hook. But now at this point, he's still got a little something left. Let's bring him back for a cup of coffee as we hopefully make a run in 2025. All right, we got 2 minutes left here. Any questions you guys have, I'm happy to talk about. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. What questions have come in from me earlier? Yeah, I think I opened the show talking about it, is that I'm not trying to be a fake callous or fake mean or anything. It's just, I'm just, how do you say this? You've seen it before. Your favorite player goes, and that's all it is, guys. I'm not going to weep and open every show talking about how we got to retire Cooper Kupp's jersey. Sure we do. Got to build a statue. I'm good with it. Got to remember all the stuff I have, It's like, can we just get to what's going on in 2025, right? I've left a few places. I left a few jobs, a few churches. And you know what they always tell you? We're never going to forget you. They always tell you, every place, oh, you were so great. We're going to love you. We're never going to forget you. But you know what? Life goes on. And they do, right? They do. And so I'm sentimental. I love history. I keep, keepsakes. I'm good with that. But if a player moves on, I'm sorry. Player has moved on. Was anyone thinking about Aaron Donald when we were kicking the Vikings' butt in the first round of the playoffs last year? Aaron? Aaron who? Right? Was anyone thinking about Cooper Kupp when Puka Nacua was doing his thing? No, life goes on. Was anyone thinking about Todd Gurley in some of the moments that Kyren Williams has had? No, I don't think so. Oh, we'll think about him when Williams fumbles, but life moves on. Man, sports especially, if it teaches us anything, is that life moves on. All right, we got to the 50-minute mark. Chargers should draft a new owner, Manny Correa. Manny, can you find one in the late rounds? You do all that work there, Manny. See if you can dig one out. Maybe there's some guy at New Hampshire that can buy the Chargers and move them back to San Diego where they belong. I actually had somebody that's pretty tight in the Rams community tell me that the Rams can never do a Ring of Honor because they're sharing the space with the Chargers. Rams need a Ring of Honor. All right, Mikey Gutierrez. I love that Rams fans really seem to appreciate the special teamers. It's not uncommon to see Hecker's Zerline jerseys at SoFi. Oh, I didn't know that. But you know what? I'm good with that. Hecker made the hold, but Zerline kicked two absolute bombs there in New Orleans, to get us into the Super Bowl. And of course, you got your Jim Nantz types out there talking about how, New Orleans could really use a shot in the arm after Katrina. Of course, it was like 15 years after Katrina. I was getting sick of hearing about New Orleans. There, I'm not nice, I guess. And to see him go in there, Zerline do that. Zerline will always be a legend. Not the greatest Ram kicker ever. I think Jeff Wilkins might be that guy. But Zerline is legendary, right? Legendary. All right. Mikey Gutierrez, my wife even has a signed Matt Gay jersey. Well, there you go, right? See, that's going to be cool. 20 years from now, someone's going to say, hey, who kicked the Rams into the NFC title game? Yeah, Cooper Kupp made the catch. Stafford made the throw. I'm trying to remember, was it Sony Michel or whoever picked up the blitz? And I don't think it was Sony. I think it might have been Cam. Maybe it was Cam. Picked up the blitz, but it was Matt Gay who had to make the kick, right? Matt Gay had to make the kick. All right, guys, I got work to do, got a place to go. So do you. Have a great weekend. Thanks for hanging out, man. I was tired.